Aloha, and a very warm welcome in my new home, obviously, and again with the magical magician, shaman, great wise woman on all levels, Gunda Janowski. And I feel like I want to share with you our topic right now, and then we can start to explore. We had two words in mind, magical words, wise words. You know. Let's have a deep breath because they're huge. You know. You know. And I would love for you if you just could. I mean, you've been now the third, fourth time in my podcast. So probably people know you. Maybe people don't know you, but I feel like we need that energy because I feel like you kind of know when I say, I know, you know. Who's Gunda Janowski?
I'm one who sometimes says, I know. And very often I say, I have no fucking idea. I have no clue. Yes, I don't know. Nothing. Yes, so I think that's the most interesting part of who I am, what I am, that sometimes I have the feeling I know, and then it either comes from my mind because I learned it. Yes. And get some expertise in it. And the other part is I know, which comes deep from inside or from Mother Earth or what is just there as an answer. This deep-rooted I know in the heart and the soul. Sometimes also in the mind, but yeah, much different from the mental I know.
So there's a difference between a mental I know you mentioned. So what's the other I know?
Very good question.
People told me that I can ask good questions. So maybe why I'm having a podcast. Oh my god, now she's showing off.
That's really the question of questions, because it feels like I know, but it's not like I know that I know. Yeah. And for this feeling, it's more wisdom than knowledge. It's something which my soul, my mind reminds something which has always been there, or which is just in the room with a certain person, with a woman who is here, and when it just shows this, I know, and then the real challenge is to find the words for this, what I know in that moment.
Is it like a sensing something beyond knowledge? How we learn that in a scientific way, probably?
Yeah, I think so.
Can we also call it intuition? In some kind of way?
Yeah. Yeah, it's part of the intuition. Yeah. And it's a knowledge beyond the brain stuff that we inhaled throughout all our lives. So we are so full with this mental knowledge all day, the technical stuff, the media, it has to be like this or that, all the things we have around us, and the knowledge how to use them, in the kitchen, in the car, in the computer. So
and I feel like it makes us feel safe, right? I don't know how you feel, beautiful listener, beautiful audience. In my case, it was in the past a thing that made me feel confident if I knew something, if I like, and the other thing is so insecure. It's scaring me out sometimes in a really huge way that I don't want to share what I know on that level. You know that feeling too?
of course, yeah. One of our last interviews just came to my mind about clarity.
Yes.
So this is exactly the opposite.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes this I use different words. I call this one wisdom, which is the knowledge of the soul, and
It was our first talk. It's in German, by the way. It was about wise women. It was about wisdom.
Yeah. So I use these different words for knowledge and wisdom to separate and to make it clear what I'm talking about. This wisdom has been hidden for such a long time.
Oh yes.
And had often to be covered to save a woman or a human being's life, that we really have become experts in hiding this wisdom. And in the end, so thoroughly that we don't even know ourselves that it is in us.
Yes. How can we approach again that wisdom, intuition, that knowing, that deeper knowing that goes so deep that it sometimes scares the hell out of us?
One very important factor is time, is silence, quietness. I need some relaxation. It needs to be out of the normal routines. I just have to do this, be there in a second.
It's so funny, guys, because now the bell's ringing. We have to do a little break. I have to do this. I do those synchronicities. That was just a perfect example. Okay. Where have you been?
You mean right now?
Yeah. In our conversation, we were talking about that there are things we have to do, right?
Yes.
And then the bell was ringing.
Yeah. So I did that, and I was really thinking about, for a moment, to stay there outside, because it's a lovely day in the sun. It's so nice and warm today. Like it became spring overnight. And yeah, now as we record this podcast, it's the night after the full moon, the pinky moon.
Yeah, it was in Germany. I looked it up. 4 a.m. This morning. So I was wrong yesterday because I saw the 1st of April, but I have some like information from, you know, people living in a different time zone, and then it was in Germany 4 a.m. So like this morning.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, the energy is there. It's like a little bit before and a little bit later. So we round about full moon. I guess it was in Cancer, right?
I don't know.
So it's about letting go. Things come to an end.
Yeah. Yeah. Also the freezing part of the year is coming to an end. We still had frosty nights here.
Yes.
And so it was even more beautiful to be outside and grabbing the parcel and enjoying the sun for a minute.
So the postman was ringing.
Yeah.
Do you think that he knows too? Do you think that this is a woman thing? That you know thing, that intuition thing? I don't believe that. And I refuse to believe that. And I hope that I have some followers, like male followers, who are like, you know, hypersensitive and healers, and please comment below what is that for you in a like male position point of view. How does it feel for you? And you know. I mean, you say I just knew it.
So that's a cool question, actually, because when we come to this world as babies, as
Yes.
kids, they all know. We all knew when we were little. And then we start to forget because our brains are stuffed with all kinds of things. Our lives are stuffed with plastic toys. And nowadays, even little children get their kind of computer. And they are so used to it. They can easily handle it because they are curious. But if there is no time in nature, if there is no time with playing with natural toys, wooden things or something like that, then this connection with their deeper knowledge, with their childish wisdom, with their child wisdom, which many adults still call childish, so that's where the word came, was not my word. This child wisdom is so intense.
Huge.
They see things, they hear things, and the grown-ups tell them that's not true. Just don't bother me with that.
Oh yes. Ooh. Oh yeah.
I'm not interested. Stop telling silly things.
So people, or especially in that case adults, don't want to know what we know or what we used to know as a kid. And then we stop talking about it, or we stop believing what they say. No, we start believing what they say and stop believing what we know, what we sense, what we feel, we know.
Yeah.
That's painful.
Yeah. And back to your questions, what about the men, the grown-up men? So as little boys, they also had this deep wisdom, this deeper knowledge. And I think they learned it in an even more rough way to delete that from their lives.
Or split it apart.
Yeah. So while girls were still allowed to be creative in a way, boys had to be practical, at least in boys of my age. And today I see many men who are very well connected with their wisdom, with their male wisdom.
Get that back, guys.
And that makes me feel good.
Yeah,
Just good.
I can feel that. You've been talking about that knowledge and that science. And it's so funny because I like both. I really like to do research and to read and to explore, and then I can tell, like, stories or to explain something. Now I teach you a German word, it's Erklärbär, to be the Erklärbär. Like the explanation bear. So yeah, I mean, I am a coach, I'm a trainer, I'm standing in front of people. I was teaching a lot of workshops and seminars. So I like to learn. I mean, I studied science, like education, like pedagogy, and I love knowledge and how things work, and it's fun. But I think with everything in life, we need to bring things into balance again. Yes. Also the parts in our brain, right?
Yeah. Especially those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also in our bodies, and the yin and the yang, and the chakras, and alignment with the universe and Mother Earth. So
that's what most people sense. Some people know that things are out of balance, and some people start to bring things back into balance. And with things, I mean everything, not just
why do we obviously intentionally, probably on an unconscious level, try to bring things out of balance? Why? I don't know.
I think it's a very wide question, or a question which opens a very wide field of answers. But I think it's on the one hand, I want to survive.
Yes.
Mode which we all
Totally agree.
have internalized, and on the other hand, it's I just want to be a little bit better off than the other one. That competition mode, which many, all, I don't know, people have.
And we've been talking about that lately, because I was raised to be very competitive, and then I lived that to the full as a Ironman athlete. So it was about being fast on times and places, and like I really lived that, and it was fun in terms of that. I really, and I call it, I have two lives, guys. So I smashed my kneecap, and then before that accident I had a life, and afterwards it was so different. But it changed my life, and also that made me think a lot why I did that. So, and it's not like saying triathlon is a bad thing, not at all, because I learned a lot. And I'm still very passionate about those guys who invented that in 1978 on Hawaii or Oahu. So I'm still like, have a really, like, my heart belongs to that sport. But I also see I change in terms of that it makes me sad to see what happened to that sport. And you can transfer that how it developed to many things on the planet. And I'm also trying to figure out when it's time to stop development. When it's like maybe coming back to less technology and less perfectionism, whatever. So where's that How do you say in English, like that tipping point?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So when it's like, when is it too much?
The fun thing is we only know when it was too much when the system collapsed.
Oh.
So it's like the curve which goes up and up and up, and we feel safe and secure and confident and happy and joyful, and then it goes down.
Mm.
And that's happening always,
So
everywhere.
we need to overpace to figure out this was too much? Okay. Don't you think that we have an inner wisdom who guides us, who says, oh, this could be probably too much?
Sure.
Sometimes I feel like I have that voice inside of me, but I'm
Some
still
curves
running.
So the natural curves
Yes.
are like that. But what we do in our lives is we go up to the very top of everything, and then we wonder if we survive
Or not.
or a company
Wow.
or a relationship or whatever. So we go right to the peak, and then we want, why didn't it work anymore? So we did not realize the signs which were there, that we want to be over the top. Why? I don't know. Strange humans.
As I told you, I'm a weird person. Don't sign up and don't follow me. You know, I have those experiences, and I know how it feels when you go over the top, when you go all in, when you exhaust yourself like to the full, and when you're really all in all the time. And there is something that you know that you can expand yourself. You can, like, training is adaptation, that you are so powerful, also your mind and your nervous system. Lately I try to work with my nervous system a lot, that I can expand that again, that I'm not that fearful anymore, and also that emotional capacity. So for me this is similar, and it is fun at one hand, but I also want to come back to the question, when do you know that your beautiful soul, mind, heart, body, nervous system tells you, I can't regulate that anymore? Because we also do need, like, pauses. So, like, the training principle is that you set you have the trigger and then you adapt. But for the adaptation, you need a pause. The same with when you learn something. Yeah, you can't study 24 hours. There's a time for integration, or you talk in coaching, or so do we probably have the chance to get back our full power when we have more silent phases in our life?
Yeah.
To recalibrate, adapt, in tune with ourselves again, to come back to that I know.
Definitely. And I think if we could spend and would spend more time in nature, not in these fields which look like, like an army of little plants in very straight lines, or the forests which are not forests, which are plantations. So if we find a spot where nature looks wild, so it doesn't have to be a big place, but where it feels wilder than around, then
Isn't that the picture? I was in Sicily and they had permaculture. So it's not that lines, it's like it supports each other, how it grows.
Yeah, for example. So if we are talking of food, growing food, then this definitely feels so much more relaxed,
wild nature.
when I walk out there where the farmers bring out their seeds, and yeah, it all looks uniformed.
That's a great sentence. Can you say that again?
Yeah, one plant looks like another. So the wheat, everything looks like one plant looks like the other, and there's nothing in between. No other plants allowed.
There is nothing in between.
Just blank earth and the wheat.
There is nothing in between.
No life. So no animals, no other plants, nothing.
I just have like pictures right now coming up like earth and soil, and it's all like dried out and broken.
And the image which I have with, let's take that wheat field. So that is what we call food afterwards, and which should nourish us. But it begins with earth, which is almost dead. There are no microorganisms in it. There are no bugs in it. There, even mice cannot survive.
Yeah.
They don't find food in there. And we call that food, which should nourish us afterwards. So I don't think we have an issue with gluten, for example. We have an issue with the wheat and how it is grown. And this is just an example for everything that we get.
I just have, I have two pictures. That picture you mentioned, that everything is so in structure, like we can have an overview and that we can control it. It's, yeah.
Yes.
And then I sometimes I use the picture of like, you can't put the ocean into drawers. You can't separate that like plants. It's not possible. It's the ocean. Yeah. And it comes and goes in waves and tides, and it changes. And that wonderful like living souls, it just like adapt, they flow, they, you know, they have their own dance. And you know, and so like once I was in Paris, and I know my French is a perfect Arc de Triomphe. How do you say that? And people like were driving like in 5 lines, like side by side. And I was like, oh my god, and it worked.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I was sitting in the bus exploring that, so wow, cool. I mean, like, or people like in India, it works because I think that they are still connected and in touch, and they communicate. There's a connection. I admire that to the full.
Yeah. I once stood on top of this
Yes.
Arc de Triomphe and looked down at that perfect chaos.
Yes. I love that.
No accident, everybody coming home.
Yes. Yes.
So
they know.
Yeah, in a way they know. Yeah,
they know.
And if we were given a car somewhere on the Champs-Élysées, which is just next door, and we're told just go to the other side of that place, I think we would feel pretty lost and overwhelmed, and
because we're not used to it. We raised it. I mean, we talk a lot, Joe. If you want to come over, just text us, Joe. We have those conversations all day long, and I don't know if you want to dive deeper into that cultural topic, because yesterday we've been talking about that as well, and that we talk a lot about history and things like happened. Just like, I don't want to dive too deep in that, but maybe that resonates with you when you're listening, when you're German. So I've been raised to be that plain, full, structured, perfectly organized, don't make any mistake. Maybe, I don't know if you're grew up in a different country and you have the same, but so it's like how it felt for me as a child. But I had one of a phone call with a friend 2 days ago, and we tried to get back in the past where we just like were coming from, and you know that I'm here for you as an artist, healer, and health sensitive. And like Germans were really famous for their creative expression in technology as well, but also like poems like Goethe and Schiller and Rilke. So like was Rilke German? I don't know. So I don't want to say anything wrong. I just like I don't want to just like also like this is not about like showing off right now. It's just like to try to understand what is the essence. What is the essence, and to come back to that essence. We have the terminology that Germans were also like poems and thinkers.
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean that it's only like a label for Germans, but you know, if we talk about gifts and talents, and you know, I ask those questions again and again. So it's like the purpose, the essence. And then we look on a field and plantation, and then you feel weird, right?
I do.
So it feels like that we force a plant how it should grow.
Mhm.
There is no space, no
Mhm.
explorative, playful thing. So, and I know that it's not funny at all, it's just like weird. And when I look these days in social media and YouTube, I have all those videos. Do this, do that. I show you, don't do that. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
I just like, I feel like imprisoned.
Mhm.
I really feel imprisoned.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Mhm. While you were talking, I just thought about my past life.
Yes.
Because while she was a triathlete, I was a workaholic, and everything needed to be perfect. So
I've been also a assistant, so
mhm.
you had to make sure that your work is so perfect that you just like give it to someone else. So you've been really responsible,
Mhm.
like for two positions
Mhm.
in a job, like two job positions. So it was all on you.
Yeah. Quick example, my boss always knew exactly where to go, when to go, what to take, what to wear, what the weather will be like, whom to meet, etc., etc. And when I myself went on a journey, private or business, I never had my stuff with me. I never knew because I was so involved in preparing his stuff that I didn't care about my own things. So that was a bit weird. So and when we were talking about the curves, I was on at the peak and I fell steep down afterwards. So yeah, if it's getting too much of anything, that's not healthy. So we need a good mental state. We need a good soul state. We need a good heart state to be complete. Back to the balance. It all needs to be in balance because it's all part of us. And we're here with all these different frequencies. And it's important because otherwise we couldn't see the beauty in the world.
Oh yeah.
Or we couldn't see the shit. And sometimes we have to take rough decisions, a yes or a no. And sometimes we can stay somewhere in between.
How can we stay in between?
One thing is to neglect. one side or the other, and to find a place somewhere in the middle. The other thing is to find kind of a compromise, which I don't really like, but which helps us to be socialized, to not fall out of what we call society. But what I feel more and more is I cannot be anywhere in the center. I have to speak out what I think, what I feel, and that
to commit to
yeah,
something.
And that means I'm not really balanced. I have a standpoint, and that can trigger other people. And
yes,
it also can harm other people.
Do you think it can harm really other people?
Yeah, if they have a very different point of view, yes, they can feel harmed.
Wow.
Not that I harm them on purpose, but they can feel harmed, of course.
Why? Sorry for that really childish, stupid question, but it comes up into my mind. Why?
Because we are all raised so differently, and if we are talking about contact to our soul and to our deeper wisdom, and if we talk to someone who is really, really, really in science, in the brain, in a mental state, and we tell this person that there is more to it in this life, in this world.
Yeah.
And if that is a vulnerable point in his life or her life, and if there is anything, a little remembrance of,
yes,
I feel that, and if that needs to be neglected in order to go on in that life which had been established, then it could hurt someone.
Yeah, then maybe these are the moments where empathy got started. Where we sense if we say that right now, it could be too much too early and it's too much. This is why we feel like that connection of the nervous system.
If we have a personal contact, yes, but sometimes we don't have a personal contact and then we don't know.
You know, I am a fan of trying to find balance in between and to go sometimes with that like roller coaster of life and waves, and to know, and this is not a knowledge of in terms of like I know in a scientific way or proven educational way or spiritual way. It's like that I have the trust, so I know that I can regulate that again. I know that after that episode that I'm hungry and then we're going to have food. So this is okay. I can handle that. I can handle that. Maybe you want to have a deep breath and feel that. If you're struggling right now, that you have a deep breath and you feel in your gut. And you start talking to your inner child. I can handle that. Yeah, I can handle that. So is then there a approach to get slowly back that knowing? You also could call it inner knowing.
I think so, yes. The first thing is to realize somewhere out there in other people, there is something which I don't know about. So that's how it started with me. Then I started reading, going to meditation classes, learned to prepare food in a certain way. later I became a yoga teacher. So it was a way, a path which I walked. It was not an incident. It was a long path, 40 years, 50 years, I don't know, a long path. And all the puzzle came together.
Yes.
All the little pieces came
Yeah.
together. And it's still not the end. So it's a path. It's a going forward and sometimes backward. But it's keep going.
I know I lately thought about having a podcast episode to talk about that it took me 40 years to get back my ability as an energy worker. And several Versuch, English, attempts. And it scared the hell out of me because I could not grab that world and it was not allowed in my environment. It was literally dangerous. I'm still on the way back. That is so funny when you talk about the educational trainings that we learn, and I feel like sometimes that they just remind us. So that we're getting back and we have like I truly believe that everyone has gifts, really. So there are treasure inside of you. And we are all like different. So you have special gifts, I have special gifts, and there are things when you learn something that appeals to you immediately and you know, yes, I want to dive deeper into that topic. And there are things they are just literally don't resonate with your system. So just like it's not working. So how was that feel like similar? So like a similar experience?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. It's sometimes it's really hard to keep going on that path because there's, or for me, there was so much fear to really go it, to be different. So when I started being a yoga teacher, I did not tell anyone in my company about that. It's more than 20 years ago. Today, everybody's doing yoga.
Yes.
So I probably was one of the pioneers. They, at a time, they asked me to give yoga classes in the company, which was unthinkable when I started. Or when I started to do shaman work, I had to hide that. It would have cost me my job.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean, okay, I say I was teaching a lot of seminars and also like working with city and administrations, and I really had to be careful and still, and I feel like I can't hold that back anymore because this is a part of us all. So that energy work, that energy exists, it's scientifically proven. And there is a quantum field, and it's that everything is energy if you break it down, the chair and the laptop. So it is energy. So and maybe we are old enough at 50 and 60 there because like we can stand up for that. Because it's like splitting apart one of my great abilities and for you too. And we do not want to harm anyone. And we hopefully can draw people into our lives who are open for both. Or just like that we integrate. I talk a lot about like all those levels. So when we talk about, koshas, to have a mind, they have a mind, and we have a body, and we have emotions. We are spiritual beings. And there is energy. And we are all of that. And we need all of that to no again.
Mhm. And an idea which just comes to me is, what if that is not all of us? If there are even more layers which we don't know.
I mean, I have a friend, she's working with her voice,
Mhm.
and I lately figured out how like powerful and creative sexual energy is. So of course,
Mhm.
I think our mind needs like sometimes specific data to digest. We get like started.
Mhm.
But yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just an idea when we talk about koshas,
Mhm.
about these different energy fields in and
Yes.
around our bodies. That's just a nice try, I think, to explain what we can't explain.
What we do here, by the way. We have that wonderful title, and we just like try and circling around, and
I
we
know.
talk. So, yeah, but I
So-
guess in some kind of way it's fun.
Yeah.
We wouldn't do that, right? If it would be not fun.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the good is expressing right now.
yeah. And maybe we know a little bit more.
No,
Then-
afterwards.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know that I've been then that total human grounded athlete, and then I dived into the spiritual bubble, and then I realized, okay, like you said, like from one extreme to the other extreme, and then coming back to, hey, I'm human. So, and I'm a nutrition coach. Yeah, I learned like vegan, how does that work to be a vegan, and I know how harmful it can be, but yeah, of course I do need sometimes chips because I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all about balance.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And I think, so in my point of view, the problem gets started when we are too rigid, and then we start to neglect that there's more, right?
Mhm.
And of course, we need safety and nervous system. So to approach that, probably there could be more. So, and probably my thoughts are just thoughts.
Mhm.
And probably I'm more than my body. Which doesn't mean that it's wonderful if you're taking good care of your body. Both.
Yeah. And of your mind.
Yes.
And of your soul.
And all the layers in between.
Yeah. And all these things which we don't even have names for. Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, in the beginning you asked me who I am, what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to add one thing, because we are diving really deep into these topics we were just talking about. And sometimes it's really crazy what comes up. And even the words that we find or create in these conversations are really, wow, weird. And sometimes there comes a kind of helplessness or even fear, because it's really going deep. And as we both work with people, and that's what I want to add, is we try to be kind of translators of what we notice, realize, feel, and to translate that into a more up-to-date language, into a
Yes.
normal language that anyone can understand, or at least have an idea of understanding on their own path.
I like the word, being a translator. and I'd like to connect things. So yeah, what is it with you? What is it what you know? You know. And maybe it can come back smooth and slowly right now into your system. And if you have like that urgency to talk with us, if you want to just contact us. And we would love to talk with you. We can go out for a walk here and you can relax here. You can have good food together. And to approach that or to get back that, you know. Thank you. Thank you.